Come on, give Amigos some excitement, yo. It's been a minute.
Welcome
All
everyone
right.
to the Football Amigos show. It's your boy Mide. As always, welcome back, amigos. We missed you all. We are back. Yes, the boys are back. Looking forward to another packed show for game dating games and very interesting as well too. Before we start, our household amigos, amigo Ayo, we'll start with you first. Good evening, sir. How are
I am very good, thank you, Midday. Excited to be back with the boys again, talking about the game that we love, and just sharing the truths and the honesty, unabashed,
you?
just giving it as it is. That's what we do here. Just straight shooters,
I love
no
that.
biases. It's all love. Yeah.
Exactly. I love it. I love it. Full transparency, amigos. That's what you get here from our content. Of course, amigo Sam, how are you, sir?
Hey man, I'm doing good. It's good to be back. It's just it sucks a little bit that I didn't get the memo because you all got nice t-shirts on the same brand, but I got something else.
Oh,
I
is it
guess
the
it's a
Paulo Penny?
reflection. I've got the same color as Ayo, but you guys, if Ayo moves back a little bit, you can see that you and me they are rocking polo.
No, no, no. I can say that. You can
Hey,
check it.
there you go. I
Yeah,
should join
Look at
GQ
that.
for the fall season.
they're too kind. Sam, are you not wearing polo?
Not today. I'm just wearing a regular button
Sure. Are you
shirt.
wearing pala?
Well,
I don't know.
is that like a fake polo or what?
What is the ABBA version of
Um,
polo? Do you remember?
Polo Assassin, I think.
oh,
I think it's
I
called
think
Polo Assassin. By
Yeah.
the way, amigos, hashtag not an ad, not promoting. Just wanted you all to know.
but if they want to promote, they should reach out to us.
Absolutely, absolutely. We will
But
be honored
Did you
to
say
to do
polo or
actually,
that.
polo assassin? Because those are two different endorsements.
Yeah,
anyone at this time.
definitely the first one. Definitely
Because
the
if it's
first
polo assassin,
anyone.
I know a guy. Oh. I know a guy. That polo assassin, I can make it happen like that.
A guy in the back, in
Amigos.
the garage with a sewing machine.
Again, amigos, we missed you all. That's why we can always do this and just catch up with you. But it's good to be back. Let's talk football. First on our agenda, game 31 reactions. We start with Arsenal versus Everton. Arsenal played away to Everton. Again, Everton is losing they're moving from their current stadium from Goodison Park to the new stadium. So a lot of their games are going to be the last ones for the season. So it's very interesting to have an Arsenal game there. The game ended 1-1. And it was one of those games, from my perspective, where Everton is looking like a solid team again under David Moyes. They look like they know what they're doing. He's added more of a passing sequence to their game. He uses a lot of the wingers more. I was very impressed. I felt Arsenal had a good game in the first half. I think they could have killed the game in the first half, but second half was a little tougher for them. And I would love to hear Amigo Ayo and his thoughts on that game. Ayo, we'll start with you, and then Sam, I'd love to get your take. Being a Liverpool fan, what did you see about Everton, even though you don't like them as a team? Ayo, we'll start with you. How did Arsenal play in that game in terms of their performance levels?
We played fine. It was fine. I was actually surprised with his starting lineup, playing Sterling, playing Waneri, and playing Trossard through the center because that's very
Do you
short.
do you think it was
Sorry.
because of Real Madrid?
I think so. I definitely think that in terms of fitness, you're starting to see struggles, and if you had to, it creates a situation where you have to prioritize games. And I think if you're going to prioritize a game between Everton in a league that Liverpool leads by 12 points and Real Madrid in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, I think the pick is easy. So he did it. It was a very pragmatic decision, and it looked like one that still could have paid off. But looking at what happened in the first half, we played really, really well. However, in the second half, when we bring on Martinelli, we bring on Saka, you almost assume that we're going to kick on a gear, and immediately, for some reason, it started to feel very disjointed. again, and we had what I still assume is a soft penalty. It's a penalty nonetheless, but a very very soft penalty. And I don't think Arsenal were able to regain the momentum for the rest of the game because they got dragged into a thing that Everton are really really good at doing, is making a slow, scrappy game. Where it's like when they get you into that flow, is everything is momentum halting, foul, booting, or just that annoying thing. But it's what it is. Like if we were competing, I'd feel like strongly about it. But I was like, I think that the season's gone now, so there's no point in like being angry. Like I'm not. People were like, oh my god, the ref made such a horrible decision. I was like, I don't care. It's like, what does that change? And so there's that aspect. However, I still thought we played well. Some of the players that don't play a lot of games still played well. Tierney came on. He had a great game from my perspective. I also believe Martinelli has shown through the last two games, and this game in particular, that he is now making intelligent, creative moves that weren't very visible in his game at the beginning of the season. And so he looks like he's working to finish the season strong, and probably hopefully kick on into the next. So I'm not angry. I do think we could have. This is a game we could have won still, but I'm also in the mode of acceptance that Arteta has to make tough, pragmatic decisions, and one of those was not to platform this game to the level of win or die.
Maybe Martinelli is one of the amigos that has subscribed to our channel and heard your analysis of his game over the course of the season, and he's making a change to that analysis. Wish he was so. Of course, amigos. In that on that note, like, share, and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts on Arsenal's performance in that game. Sam, before we move on to the next game here, your thoughts on Everton and their improvement since David Moyes has come into the team?
Yeah, you're definitely right. They have made significant improvements. I'm a big fan of David Moyes. He didn't have the best of the best last two seasons at West Ham. However, he's turned everything around. Like I mentioned, everything will frustrate you. They know how to kick. They know how to do all of those things. Starting from the goalkeeper, I like him, but he's just it's an annoying guy, man. I don't know what player annoys me the most, honestly. But very good guy. He is just sometimes he acts like a kid. But all that aside,
Oh man.
they were very fortunate against Arsenal. I think I don't know what Arsenal could have improved. Honestly, they were lucky to get away with one goal and not even a red card as well because there's just a bunch of kicking around. However, we can't dismiss the fact that they're improving. They're improving. They frustrated Liverpool too. We're thankful to get a goal out of them. Um, what I will say though is, despite all the kicking, they also have some outstanding players that you cannot dismiss their revamped talent, if I may, or their awakened talent. This guy, Decore, A will run his field for you. He's very versatile, man. He plays in the middle, plays on the left, and he's just like bullies everybody out. They also have that it was in Dye, whatever that young guy is. Very super talented guys. But again, they were just fortunate to get away with a point. They should have lost that game.
I thought it was a very interesting game. I thought Pickford had a very good game as a goalkeeper. He made a lot of saves, which I was very impressed about. He looked like he's becoming more mature with his decision making and his little antics. I thought that was interesting. And then also Soman Ndai, like you talked about, Sam. I have my eye on him. He seems to be a very good player, especially not just on the ball, but off the ball as well. Ayo, one more question before we move on to a different reaction. How significant is Gabriel missing back there in defense, especially playing Real Madrid coming up this week?
He's our best defender, and I'm saying there's no knowing full well of Saliba's qualities and how much they're being lauded. But I think sometimes what is so visually pleasing takes over takes more precedence over what is most effective. And I think in terms of how Gabriel plays, their combination is more of a fire and ice, and he's that fire. So if there is going to be a battle between a defender and a striker willing to run into space, and because a defender is supposed to stop the striker from turning, a defender that's going to be there for the last gap interceptions, a defender that's going to be there to marshal the defense to make sure they're keeping their shape, to compete effectively in headers or dead ball situations on both ends on the pitch. That's where Gabriel shines. He does so much, there's so much to his game that as soon as you put someone like Kiwior, you start to understand why he's central, because then the defense stabilizes very, very easy. It gets dragged apart very, very easy. You see players forgetting their roles, and you see players not being very able to screen the post. One thing that I love about Gabriel that is so good, if you watch him in his highlights, is how well he screens the goalpost when a player is about to strike the ball. If you just watch him, either he covers the space that forces them to take more ambitious shots which tends to let them miss, or just sky it, I guess, on the other side, blocking zones so that the goalkeeper has less to guard. And so he screens the goalpost in these kind of situations better than anybody we have. And so all these half chances that tend to go in for other teams, when he is screening, that never gets past him. And he is extremely good about reading the trajectory of the flight of his ball and knowing where to place himself to make that a much more difficult challenge. And I think we're gonna miss that, because I can see, especially in the next few games. I don't know if you want to talk about the Real Madrid game, but I can see like players like Bellingham, players like Vinicius, players like Mbappe having these half chances where with Gabriel would have come to nothing, but now I actually think they might. Yeah. And so that's a challenge. Yeah.
I want
Oh, you
to.
bring up a good point. Speaking of goals, live Sam. What was you going to say?
Yeah, I want to. You didn't ask me the question, but I wanted to jump on it. Arsenal has been
Go
knocking on
for
the
it.
Premier
Yeah.
League title. They've been knocking on the title. They will get it eventually within the next 2 3 years. I think personally, with their current team right now, two players that I really really think are pivotal to that door of the title being open is Gabriel and Saka. That's my own opinion. Odegaard, very, very important player for them. But I think you can kind of manage him, manage his position, and whatever he gives to you as an output um, with other players. But Gabriel, his leadership in that back is just extremely, extremely important. So that's what I wanted to chip in on that.
No, I totally agree. I totally agree. But going back to Ayo's point, speaking about ghosts, um, Liverpool's defense, it's a little bit on the ghostly side after a very challenging weekend, I have to say, against Fulham. I had to, amigos. I'm sorry. I had to. It was a very ghostly performance from their defense, and one that I would love to hear Sam's reaction to. Amigos, the game ended 2-1 loss, 3-2 loss to Liverpool. Liverpool losing at Craven Cottage, where Fulham's home is. It was one of those games where Liverpool scored first. Beautiful goal by McAllister. Beautiful. And he has that in him. And it seems like we're seeing that regularly now. But at the same time, defensive frailties, defensive mistakes, and to be quite honest, basic ones brought Fulham back into the game and made it 3-1 at halftime. Of course, Slots made some changes, which I noticed into the second half, and they started to push and prod Fulham as they've done all season. Very strong defensively. Lewis did score, which I thought was a good combination, but Brent Leno, a former Arsenal goalkeeper, had one of his because there were some shots from Chiesa as well that should have gone in. Gakpo as well. Salah didn't have a good game. Personally, he was shot down a lot on that left hand side. But Fulham held strong. Fulham held strong. They had a very solid defensive performance. Goalkeeper did well. The strikers are firing. It was one of those ghostly performances from a Liverpool standpoint. Sam, we'll start with you, and I'd love to hear Ayo's comments about Fulham's improvement and being somewhat of a consistently strong opponent in the Premier League recently. We'll start with Liverpool, Sam. What happened to
Yeah.
Liverpool defensively today?
Man, it's not just the game against Fulham. The game prior to that, even Everton, there was a lot of defensive. I don't even know if I would say miscalculation going on in there. And I have to say, the big man, I've got a lot of respect for him. And the big man is not being impressive in the last 2 3 games. I'm talking about Van Dijk now. So I don't know what exactly is going on. It's just a lot of one on one that come the ball somehow comes through and the opponent gets the ball behind our defender and they score beautiful goals. I don't know if it's lack of communication, if it's lack of confidence. I don't know if it's the contract thing that is affecting us. Regardless of what it is, we're not looking good, and I wanna. I thought the title is gone for Arsenal. I don't think so. As a Liverpool fan, I'm looking at what we have left. I still got to play Arsenal. I still got to play Chelsea. I still got to play Tottenham. I still got to play West Ham, Brighton. Those are not teams that you want to sweep away, right? Especially when you're not
So,
scoring. Especially when
Tottenham.
now that you're
Tottenham.
not defending. Well,
that's
Tottenham.
what he was laughing about.
Uh, hey, better, hey, don't dismiss those guys. When it comes to Liverpool, they've been trying to say, that all these top six. When it comes to Liverpool, that's when all of a sudden, out
They
of
grow an
nowhere,
extra muscle.
they just like, where's Liverpool? Where's Van Dijk? Where's Salah? We're gonna crush them
Hmm.
today. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I don't discredit any team at all. Going into the Fulham game, I wanted to text you guys the night before the game, like, yeah, this is probably gonna be a draw for us. Although Arsenal draw, but I think this is gonna be a draw for us. But I didn't know it was gonna be that bloodbath. I would say if I would use Miday's word or I think. But the bottom line is our defense is not communicating. You're not communicating and you're not clearing out these balls as far as you can. When you look at, I believe it was second goal now, I don't know what Robertson was doing. Robertson had the opportunity to play the ball forward and he played diagonally, like directly into the hands of the opponent. What are you doing trying to go towards or close to the box? Go away from the box. Um, it's it's pathetic. I know they are tired, and I really think and I really understand. I truly understand they are tired. They came into this season with very low expectation, given that it's a transition. It was going to be a transitional period, at least for me and some other Liverpool fans. But they've been impressive. I'm not going to take that away from them. However, getting knocked out of two true trophy opportunities within the last few days, I don't see how they will quickly recover and just get things going. Overall, I'm proud of the boys, but I will not like it if we lose the league at this point. I feel like we've done well. Let's just seal it off and kill the game. I don't want to. I don't want to lose to Arsenal, man. I don't want to lose to Arsenal. you know,
Sam, do you think Slot is going to have a very interesting summer, not just with the players that might be leaving, but the long-term succession plan for that defensive line?
I have to say, I don't want to keep saying things as a Liverpool fan and quote unquote analyst at this point. I don't know what this coach is going to do, which is good to keep us like that. Um, to be honest, let him do the work, get through this season. I don't want to be one of those guys on the TV that just says everything that like they know what is going on. No, but I would love for him to start doing some overall. I'll just say not overall, but overall improvements from every department, from the defense to the midfield now to the forward. The forward, we are really, really lacking some creativity in that aspect right now, especially from the number nine position. The outcome is kind of pathetic. I have to say, you cannot have Salah or Gakpo only doing the most of the outputs that leads to the good outcome, right? You want somebody else that can convert, and when they're not in the box to score, they are pulling out to be able to let the other guys run in and do some damages. So midfield, I'm okay with where we are. Could be better. Our defense is becoming a problem for me now. So definitely a lot of work is expected, but I'm just not gonna say for sure that's gonna be his next move.
No, good points. Good points there, Sam. Ayo, from your perspective, what has Fulham done to be this consistently impressive in the Premier League?
Well, Midday, they're a London rival, so I don't know. From history, they've always been a mid-table team. Every now and then they'd fall further down. I believe they've got relegated in the past and then bounced back. Um,
Yeah.
I just think they are a much more stable organization. They're an organization that are aware of their strengths and their weaknesses, and they have a coach that can manage moments really, really well. Because I personally, like, we played them not too long ago, and they did some things that were great, but in many ways they were average. And so, but they do have a way of managing like situations. If there's going to be a positive, like, think of it almost like spurts. If there's going to be a positive 5 minutes, they take advantage of that positive 5 minutes. Then they'll chill. It's similar. It doesn't look visually similar, but similar to how Nottingham Forest can do it, where it's like they're going to give you their most potent parts for very condensed moments, and then they look average on for the rest of it. But they do it in ways that can be very, very effective because defensively, they have the organization and structure to really hold leads in a way. I mean, they almost didn't do it. I think Liverpool. I think actually Liverpool were very unlucky in this game. This was a game where they did enough to, at the very least, walk away with a draw. However, when you concede 3 goals, there's no guarantee you can get 3 goals to respond with. So there are good things. A shout out though, Iwobi. I am so impressed. I am
Yes,
so
he's
I
impressed.
improved
feel like
a
that guy was
lot.
working for Arsenal to make sure Liverpool doesn't don't get him fired.
Yeah. So Arsenal
That
fans,
guy is still an Arsenal
I'm
fan, bro.
I'm just happy he came good.
The same thing with them.
Mhm.
Watching him when he was still with us, like he had talent. He just couldn't, he just couldn't keep his head on his shoulders. He'd lose his mind in terms like when he was dribbling, he couldn't like get that final action quite right, and he was just such a frustrating player to watch because of all that talent. But it's just nice to just see him with the maturity to not just show his talent, but also show the end product in terms of key assists and even goals too. Like the goal was so well taken. I was so proud of him, and so yeah, so they're a mid-table team. I don't think they're going to challenge for Europe in that sense, or at least consistently. Maybe Europa. I don't know. But for what they have, they are delivering excellent results, and you have to give credit to the leadership and the coach and the players too.
Mhm. Mhm. No, I agree. I agree. Amigos, like, share, and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts about the game between Liverpool and Fulham and your comments for both teams. Speaking about leadership and execution, it was very interesting Manchester United derby this Sunday. Man City came to play at Old Trafford, and I have to say there is a consistency in terms of performance with how we are playing as a United team, but it's still that underlining issue of finishing. And it's one of those seasons where I think it's obvious what some of our issues are, which I like because now we can hopefully fix that at the end of the season. It's not going to be within the next 7 to 10 games left in the Premier League. I think as of right now, we our best is to just do the best we can in in the league and try to win the Europa League. That I think that's a realistic and a smart goal based on what we can do as well. Maybe give some of the younger ones some time. I think that would be a good idea. But very good performance against a Man City team that, without Hoyland, I don't know if they've forgotten how to play without him. Especially when even when he came before, Man City had the ability to play with anyone up top. Anyone. I
Do
feel
you
like
mean
they've gotten so
Haaland?
used to Haaland. Yes, I feel like they've gotten so used to Haaland now. I said Hoyland, sorry. Haaland. They've gotten so used to him that when he's not there, it's very difficult to try to be more clinical in front of goal from the other attacking players. It was a good game. Onana had a good game. Even the Mamouche shot that he saved, I was quite shocked that he actually saw the ball because of the sun impacting his eyes. But a good game overall. Bruno had a good game as well. Granacho, as good as he is, his decision making needs to improve long term. A good game. We should have maybe had a penalty shout out in the first half, but I didn't see him calling that. There could be debates about that, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse. Someone said it felt like a Kevin De Bruyne testimonial because, as we know, Kevin De Bruyne is leaving Man City at the end of the season. But I'd love to hear neutral reactions from both Ayo and Sam. Ayo, we'll start with you. Manchester Derby, general thoughts.
I would like to focus on Man United, I think, because I think it deserves to mention. My Sam and I, we spoke candidly the last time we were on here about our the chances of Amarim getting fired if you tie in poor results. And I think he has shown enough since the last time we spoke over the course of a series of games that there is progress. And you have to just watch your team. Like, the results can be maybe not as promising, the loss against Nottingham Forest, but the gameplay is very impressive. They understand how to build from the back very well now. They can bypass the first line of a press. The way that he has maneuvered or adjusted Fernandez's game to make him almost like a springboard. I wouldn't say a wall pass, but it's really a wall pass that can redirect to almost anywhere on the pitch. It's a very effective. He is understood. Like, so, what I found difficult with Fernandez is when he's carrying the ball, when he's trying to make a turn in tight areas, and when the opposition team is further ahead. But when he's in it, and you make use of his vision and just his ability with just that first touch, he doesn't delay. He doesn't delay the ball. First touch to where the ball needs to go, and it could be a simple wall pass, but it could be a wonderful distribution. And he did that to the frustration of Arsenal when I watched him play. And today he was so mightily effective in how he used his qualities to just break the press. You pass to him, the ball doesn't stay with him, so you can't close him, and he's that springboard to either the wide players or the striking position. And their approach plays great. When they get into the final third, that's just chemistry. The shots that people miss that I saw Salah miss is a much simpler opportunity today. And I watched, and he's one of the best wingers to ever grace the Premier League. So in terms of putting it at the in the back of a net is not really that simple, and it can rely on some intangibles or at least qualities that are not necessarily the most trainable or teachable, I guess. And so, other than that, though, everything they have done, the progress, their build up, it makes it seem that we can have great expectations for next season. I don't know, because I still feel like I can name 5 teams that would do better over the course of 38 games. But I think qualifying for Europe directly next season is not necessarily out of the remit if they bring in the appropriate striking talent, because I do think that Hoyland is he's on the struggle bus. Yeah, and I don't know what the future holds. Garnacho, I'm happy with. I can't wait for Diallo to come back and see what that combination can be. And I think you guys need to just have faith for Garnacho. He's doing all the right things. He just needs that last bit to tie in. But I really like his movement, and I really, really respect his ball carrying ability. His ball carrying at pace is very, very dangerous, and I think is the crux of a lot of the threat that Man United have carried in his last stages, and that cannot be diminished because of that final product. Is just that final shot, sorry, or that final action is not quite there.
Mm.
No, I agree. I agree. Sam, your thoughts about the game?
I didn't see the game. I only saw the a little bit of the highlight earlier. And first of all, I when I saw the score line, I was like, okay, could Amaran beat the new sheriff in town, especially against Pep? Because not a bad result to tie Pep with this current Man United, regardless of this current Man City looks like. It's still terrifying to play against them. So him going against him, getting a draw is the last time he played against him in Man United. Was that a draw too, or Man City won?
We won. We won
You
one
guys
nil.
won. Yeah, you
Yeah,
guys won.
I'm at score.
So for what is what, he's winning now over Pep when it comes to results from his previous team and his current team, right? So it kind of gave me this idea that okay, maybe he has a key that some of these coaches don't have against Pep, right? Um, but all that being said, what really matters is is what we see from Man United. Can they take that forward? And can they actually make something out of this project? I think from the highlight that I saw, I think Onana was very prompt. I also think Man City had a lot of crossing, man. They was just I don't know what they were trying to do. Again, it might be because they just don't know what to do without
They're so used
without
to
Ireland,
they're so
man.
used to Holland. They cross, but there's a ghost there that doesn't head the ball.
Man, I'm like, what are they trying to do, man? But I get it. That's kind of been their game a little bit. But the reason that you don't notice that is because the island effect, the island presence. There's a high possibility that 7 out of 10 balls that got crossed into the box is gonna yield a good results, and you just count it off as a good game for them. But the point I'm trying to make is Onana, Onana was good. The defenders too were good. They didn't block a lot of balls, but they were covering down. We're doing well with their screenings. So I definitely would give that to them. I also noticed an improved Man United in the second half, in my own opinion. I think Garnacho, yeah, maybe I didn't see where he dropped the ball a lot, but I saw him gave a pass to I can't remember what this guy was. Um, but overall, I'm
Dogo,
impressed.
was it
Dogu, yeah,
Dogo?
because he
It
came
was a
from the left, and
it was an
he
overlap.
also overlap. Man, I think they have a project in their hands that if they keep improving, watch the players' attitude, I think they can definitely spring back up in the next 2 seasons for sure. Not seeing the full game or a proper full highlights doesn't really give me much to talk about. But the score line, I'm very, very impressed with the score line, with the little clips that I saw here and there. I think Man United is up to a good start. I hope it continues that way though. Consistency is always a thing uh with teams like this. When you're struggling, you rise up and something else kicks you off until you finally get up there. But nothing much, nothing much. Happy for you, Mide.
Thank you, thank you. Ayo, before we wrap up, general thoughts about City and where they're going as a club, like especially based on recent performances.
Dude, dude, that was embarrassing to watch from them. I won't lie. I'll say one thing, and this is one thing about Man United that very positive before we move in. I love how they kept the game compact, and because we're talking about the crosses, they really did choke those central areas, and in fact they were actually willing to allow space on the wings because they were confident that whatever crosses came, they could handle that, and they really choked the central area, which is how you defend. against Man City. You keep it very compact. The distance between your front line and your back line needs to be very close, and you want to choke those central areas. And but everyone's been trying to do this since the dawn of time against Pep teams, and have failed horrifically because the technical level, their ability to maneuver in time in tight spaces, their vision to thread through balls and just break down oppositions, no matter how tightly they pack themselves. His team doesn't have that anymore. His teams are so disjointed. Like they couldn't make simple passes. Like I was watching this game, and I think it was a pass. Gundogan. Remember who this player is? He tried to make to. I think it was either Declan. I'm sorry. De Bruyne or Mamouche, but it was such a poor pass from such a short distance. And you just see that over and over time. Man United were able to dispossess City at will, and this lack of security in possession, it has just never been a thing for what's they call for Pep's team, and that's all you see season long. And you have to just look at that midfield, and that midfield is completely wrong. There's all the players they're fielding there are either too small to handle a transition game, which they suck at, and they've been sucking at the entire season, or they don't seem to have the cohesion, the technical cohesion to beta press, bypass it, and retain control in time for them to move their players to the appropriate positions. And the fact that Kevin De Bruyne said he was leaving, I'm just happy for him that he had the maturity and the vision to say that and be like, I'm leaving at the end of season because it's really hard to watch the Kevin De Bruyne of the 25-26 24-25 season. It's really puzzling because we know the genius that resides in this man, and to see him just struggle to get a pass going, to like even just to receive possession. You see the shot he tried to take and just how poor his form was and his position and setting up. I mean, like, oh no, Kevin, oh no. But it is what it is. Situations end, but they have to buy a lot because they have to let go a lot of the people that started in Man City. Sorry, I'm getting the two teams confused. Man City's midfield, I think, really only Bernardo Silva should be left there at the end of it all, because even though he's diminutive, he is very technical, very willing, and actually very fast. And so I like his approach. He has a place to be, but they have to really like the what's that number 8 player, that holding midfielder. I don't like him at all.
Is it Kovacic? Is it
Kovacic,
Kovacic?
yeah, Kovacic. Yeah, I don't rate him. De Bruyne, he's going. Thank Lord for that. And Gundogan, like it was just like you love these players. Not that you don't love the team, obviously, but you love and you appreciate their genius. But to see them this, uh,
Yeah, I think for Gundogan, he's already declined before he took off to Barcelona. Coming back, I think City was just looking for the old glory. Like, oh yeah, let's see if we can patch what we had, and we can get something going. But I agree with you, Ayo. If they're not careful, they're gonna struggle even more next season. But we'll see what happens over the summer.
Yeah. I think there's a passing of the guard that's happening there at City, and it'll be interesting how they handle their transfer window before August, because there will be two transfer windows apparently this summer because of the FIFA Club World Cup. So it's going to be interesting how teams make their um, purchases and transfers that first week in June when it's open, and then 3 weeks after it's going to open again for their normal session till the end of August. It'll be interesting to see what City does with that team and who comes in from the academy. Oscar Bob just comes to mind every time I think about him. I know he's been injured all season, but it'll be very interesting to see what Pep does with all of that. Because to your point, Ayo and Sam, there are some players that are eventually getting older that might need to be phased off over time. Amigos, like and subscribe. Let us know your comments on all of the reactions we've heard today. Always scintillating reactions, of course. Very transparent, very honest. That's what you get here with the content we have. Hopefully, we'll have more shorts for you. It seems that our Amigo fans are loving some of the shorts that we're providing, so we will have more of that. Of course, huge thanks to our producers as well. Amigos, like, share, subscribe. Let us know your thoughts. Share with your friends, and we will see you all in the next content. Stay safe, guys. Stay positive. I've been hearing rumors that it
What
was
do you
interesting.
mean?
Man, it wasn't interesting. It was stupid. Those two people.
Okay, okay.
It's not
Yeah,
even. It's
their
not even.
opinions are very questionable.
It's this is because I was talking about this earlier. I don't know if you guys can remember. I was like, the Man United team needs to create separation yesterday from all these has-beens. I'm telling you, people that could not coach to save their lives. Is it Gary
Has
Neville that is
been.
talking?
Has been.
It's true now.
Yeah, he's very critical of the
Is he
team,
Roy
and
Keane
I
that
don't
can
know
coach?
why.
Roy Keane, coach. Roy Keane knows. It's like it's like actors. They are saying, that, "Oh, I can be better directors." Like that's like two different things. Two
They
different
think
things.
it's very they think it's very easy. That's the problem. They think it's too
Two very
easy.
different
They've
things.
been they I
How
feel
can they
like
take it too easy? They failed. It's not
exactly.
Gary Neville that was keeping
Exactly.
7. Man, I was so mad.
All right.
However, I thought you guys have been playing very well. In fact, even the one that you lost against Nottingham, I watched that one. I thought you guys did
Yeah,
well.
they say we had a better second half. I saw that game too. We just couldn't finish.
Yeah, so everything is going the right direction. It's just the conversation around it for me is very annoying because you're asking for a Man United that doesn't exist, and then you're mad
Yes.
when it doesn't happen.
When
It's
it
like
does when it doesn't happen. Yeah. 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 Ayo, you're already on point. Maybe Arsenal should draw with Everton regularly. You're on point. All right, I'm ready to start.